Do we even end that up at 410, you know, Kenny's place?
Nope.
Time to go?
Time to go, 6 o'clock. Meeting order.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair, to accept the minutes of May 12th, the public minutes, and the non-public minutes of, excuse me, of May 20th, and the non-public minutes of May 20th and May 28th.
Oh, sorry. Third. Okay, official reports.
Yeah, I had a few meetings. Last night I had a meeting with the fire station, and basically I just want to report there's going to be fireman's breakfast this Saturday.
Saturday, Sunday.
This Sunday, excuse me, we both begin with S. 10 o'clock, I believe. Anyway, it's posted on the website, so they were talking about that, and several other items. You know, now that there's the new chief, there's a new regime there, and they've taken stock of what they have and what they may need. And so I advised the chief to come to the CIP meeting in order to tell the committee what he wants and what he needs so they can separate it and prioritize it. So that gets me to the CIP meeting, which I also had, and Sam was there. And Sam, being a department head, has first-hand knowledge of his wants and his needs, and he's prioritized it, so we know what his needs are. We have a pretty good idea, and it was like, we were so far off on what we were doing because we had the inventory, but we're basically guessing on what the priority is because the old road agent never came. So now that we have it firsthand, we're miles ahead of where we were. So that is primarily the major thing that we did in the meeting, but I would like to say my comment is that if any of the departments have a capital expenditure that they want to put on the warrant this upcoming year, if they don't go through CIP, I'm not approving it, period. They've had lots of opportunities to go and talk to them. I think everybody should talk to them, and it's not just for this coming March, it's for 6 years down the road, whatever they're trying to plan ahead. So I would highly recommend that.
What's CIP mean?
It's a capital improvements plan committee. We don't have a capital plan in Grafton, but we have it's basically a non-binding committee that's got together in a meeting with everybody so we can figure out what we need. And I can tell you that the town needs a lot of things, or has a wants for a lot of things. And we don't have money for everything, so we have to figure it out. So
that's a great idea, Steve. When I first submitted that warrant article for the CIP 2 years ago,
yeah, a couple of years ago.
One of the things I suggested was don't let the departments take any of their stuff. Don't let them get anything, put some teeth in it.
Right.
They can just not show up. Give it something that they can say, well, if we don't go, we don't get anything. We don't get what we want.
They're not going to get the CIP
That's a good
approval,
idea.
which in their non-binding committee, but they're not going to get mine, and I will argue against anything that comes up that hasn't gone through the committee first.
That's a good idea.
It's got to go through the ringer, and then we can figure it out.
Right.
So I think if
That's
that's how it was designed to work, then that's what I wanted to do.
That was my suggestion. We never got put in the warrant article, and I just said, well, okay, whatever.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Is this capital improvement planning committee, is people made up of people from Grafton?
Yes.
Okay, so it's people who know the town and.
Yes.
Okay, that's all right.
So there's a couple people from the planning board,
Yep.
somebody from the budget committee, Selectmens represented there, and then we have a couple at-large members.
All right, that's fine. Just a question I hadn't been here before.
Okay, and then I also had a planning board meeting. Right after the CIP, we have planning board, so it was a busy night. And the planning board, I meant to bring their minutes, and I didn't, I don't think. Oh yeah, I did. There's an issue with one of the gravel pits, which I believe is resolved, and you signed the excavation permit, so that we discussed that. And you know, we've been talking about the master plan. The master plan is a dirty word for stuff to communism and all that. And so the planning board doesn't really have, they don't really have that time. I mean, this thing is generated through the planning board, and you have to do a community-wide survey. There's a bunch of steps in order to get there. And somebody brought this idea forward, and this person doesn't want to do a master plan, but just brought it forward as something that the town can consider as a tool if we want to get an idea, a temperature of how the town feels about it. I guess if you go down to the Canaan Laundromat, there's a code that you scan. What do you call those codes you scan that brings you to a
QR code.
Yeah, there's a QR code there, and you scan the QR code and it brings you to a questionnaire, and it asks you all kinds of questions. In this case, Canaan is doing a master plan, but we may want to get the temperature for something else at some time, like maybe a capital expenditure of some sort that a group wants to do, and this may be a better way of getting, encouraging the public to get involved. And so I brought back a copy if anybody wants to take a look at it, and that's the end of my ex officio reports.
If I could add to that just briefly, Steve, master plan doesn't have to be the big long thing they did last time. It only has to have 2 sections in it per the RSA. It can be very simple, and for some reason, people get hung up and say we need this big long thing, and they don't.
That's exactly what happens every time that it's brought up, and then you generally get a lot of know-it-alls in there as well, and it's hard to deal with. You know, one thing that Grafton, and I've heard it 100 times, is that you can't have committees in Grafton because they never work out, and I totally reject that. I think that's a defeatist attitude, and I'm going to do everything I can to make the committees on work, and that would be the CIP committee, because it's not an elected committee, it's just an at-large committee. So I'd like to see some success come from it.
Keep it simple, right? Yeah.
Okay, I had a meeting with Deb Clough from the new office yesterday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, yesterday. And she wanted to know about their building they want to put up. She told her my worries that it brought to us as an 8x12 and it's going to end up being like a 30x40. She told me that they'd be willing to sign a contract saying it would be the 8x12 or 8x16, whatever their plan was, just to get it there. So it would be easier for them to get stuff in and out, especially in the winter time. So she wants us to give her a yes or no. I personally, I don't, if they want to do a contract, that's fine, I'll let them do a contract. And she says if anything changes, she'll come to the board again. She wants to work with us. I would rather work with them than fight with them.
I would rather work with them too, but the thing being is you got the pole line. And
Yeah, but in the winter time, you can't really get to the pole barn.
but,
They have their winter gathering. That's their thing.
Can't you plow?
yeah, it can
No.
get plowed.
You seen the library when they plowed? You want topsoil anywhere in between at historical sites and building?
But I don't know how much that they do during the winter that they couldn't use the pole line.
We could have the highway department come down the back over the loader and.
Hey.
What?
Yeah, I don't think that we want to have the highway department have another
Yeah, you don't
task
need
like
them to
that.
have anything else to do in the winter time.
And I personally I mean, I'm not crazy about having a shed on that property. I'd rather have it on the library property. But I'm also willing to consider their request. And if they had a plan, then I would consider it. So if they had it, doesn't have to be a contract, it just has to be a plan. And then I would take their word that they'd live up to it. So I think the ball's in their court. They could bring it here and Ed's not gonna like it. Well, he might, but probably
It's
not.
not
No,
for you.
I'm
It's
not.
not for you to mow.
I don't care.
Plus, there's nothing to mow in there anyway, it's all dust. You go in there and you drive up some dust devils.
The thing being is we fixed the pole barn to be used for the apartments. And there's no reason why they can't take and use it.
So, yeah, so we can't make it through a drive, we won't make it drive through.
It don't need to be a drive-through.
I think a drive-through would be a safety hazard, I wouldn't want to do that.
No.
So, and I'm not sure what their needs are in the winter. I guess they have their Christmas fair, I don't know what they would store, I just don't know.
They want to get stuff out of their houses and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe actually,
I could
sealed
understand
building.
that. I can understand why they want to take that stuff out.
Because the pole barn's not completely sealed.
No, and it's dirty in there.
As if the shed's not gonna be dirty in there too.
Well, it's not gonna be like the pole barn.
No.
Yeah, they
It's
might
not
have,
gonna be a dirt floor with it.
they might have a
Yeah,
wooden
it's not-
floor.
It's gonna be sealed. So I don't have a problem with letting
The
them.
building might be square too, instead of like,
Like it's waving at you. Yeah, I have no problem putting them up and building there. Like they said, it's not gonna be a fixed structure.
But you would want to see them create their plan to present to
Yeah.
you. to
yeah,
agree
it doesn't have to
upon.
be a big elaborate plan, but like, just like we've said, you got 2 signals already. So just make up your mind and
It's
let us
straight
see and
plan,
we'll go from there.
I can reach out to them.
Highway department's doing good, we have Sam here, I'll talk to him in a couple seconds. We do have 2 new, people coming on board Monday. One with CDL, one without, one without won't be getting his CDL. Not to be a CDL driver, he will be our mechanic.
He's the person we were talking about at deliberative session.
Well,
So he's gonna be doing, not just mechanic work, but we're gonna rely on him a lot for his knowledge. So we'll see how.
well, right off the bat, he's gonna be doing a lot of mechanic work. I hope.
He's warned.
Yeah, going into that issue, Sam will talk about issues with the grader. We have some major issues with the grader
We do.
that we haven't, previous road agent hasn't disclosed to us.
So before the grader was even purchased, it had a shifting problem that nobody wanted to address with the company that it was purchased from. So it was purchased and wasn't shifting correctly. And the prior road agent did what his knowledge allowed him to do, and he replaced a couple shift solenoids, and that didn't fix it. Well, now we are missing gears. So I have first, second, sometimes thirds, hopeful, and sixth. And I'm not sure whether we should bring in Cat or see if our new mechanic can do it. I mean, this thing's all electronic. It is very top of the line. See, I don't know what Kenny can do. That's the name of our mechanic. He is a diesel mechanic. He's been working on trucks and diesel engines for years. As for electronics, I don't know. But if we do have to bring in a Cat mechanic, it is going to be a healthy check. These guys are very expensive per hour. So I'm trying to not to go that route, but it does not like to shift into 4th, 5th, 7th, or 8th. So that's exciting.
Oh, wait for the next one.
Do they have like an OBD port that you can plug in?
It does,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're just gonna go into the road agent report.
Can't you just purchase the unit and then have it diagnosed for you?
So that's very expensive.
Really?
Very expensive to buy computers. We do have a universal OBD computer we bought
Yeah.
for our trucks, so we can start diagnosing them. But every truck has a different port, and you have to buy the computer plug that goes with the vehicle to our computer. So when we bought the computer, it came with like a set of 5 or 6 different plugs. And we bought this one specifically because it aligns with the trucks we have right now, but we have nothing for our grader.
So what the add-on plug for the grader?
We can try-
Available, I mean.
I don't know if it'll be available for the computer we have.
I mean, if it's a couple of $100 and it saves hauling the machine down to
So the computer we have was like 500 or 599 somewhere right there, and I think we got lucky on it. I don't think that's what they cost. I think we got lucky purchasing one that just happened to work. They are tens of thousands of dollars for diesel diagnostic equipment, and this is why shops don't do this work anymore, is because plugging anything in is just vastly expensive. So that's one problem. The other problem I was talking to Leaf about today is we need 6 new tires on the grader. Some of them are going bald. Some of them have cracks all the way around the treads where all the lugs are and everything. And I'm having a very hard time getting 2-3 inches into the ground, and I just start spinning. So what I have to do is I have to grade multiple times the road down to get me below all the potholes. It's taking a lot longer. This could be up to $10,000 for 6 new tires. So this is going to be a CIP request. I've got to try to find a company this week. They have to come. We can't bring the grader to them. So getting a mobile shop to come to our shop is also going to be costly. So that's the 2 big things. And
Pete might be able to do it.
who?
Pete's Tire Barn. Cause they'll come and do the tenders and stuff right in the yard.
Where are they at?
Hartford.
Pete's Tire Barn.
Yeah, they might
Yeah, I'll
be able to do it. But this is the same issue we had with the John Deere. That's why we had 6 new tires put on that.
Thank you.
But then we traded it in with the new tires on it.
Tires on it.
So unfortunately, yeah, those are 2 major issues on a major piece of equipment that I need.
And this is prime time for the grader.
This is
Yes.
prime time. Last week was a short week, it was a 4-day week, but I ended up getting the norovirus. So I was absolutely sick. I missed 1 day, came in another day. I had it for about 96 hours, and I was an absolute wreck. So for getting a lot of work done last week, when we were in, it was in the shop, and I needed to be close to that. And so last week was just cleaning trucks, trying to fix trucks. We got John's truck put back together. He's very happy with that. Lights are working, tarp's fixed. We got all the parts in to fix the tarp. I had almost 3-4 hours of chasing wires to just find a breaker that had popped. That was awesome. So that was fun. And then
You get the rear axle fixed?
we have not got his rear axle fixed. So we do have a 4-wheel drive problem on John's truck. We cannot get it into 4 low. It will not go. We don't know why. That's a 2022. We had this issue with the prior road agent as well. It actually was sent to Reed's twice for this issue, and Reed's has sent it back saying they fixed it, they haven't. This is why I'm done with Reed's. I don't like sending stuff to them because they keep sending it back and not fixing anything. And so
You guys put it in neutral going 4 low?
yeah, we're trying everything. We can't get it. We've gotten it. I can't say we can't. We've gotten it once into 4-low. Today we got it stuck in 4-wheel drive. So we unlocked the hubs and was just driving it with the rear end in because we couldn't not drive it, but we did get it back out. So we just pulled over and said, no, we're not going to do this. We got to figure out why it's doing this, and we just kept working through all. It's all electronic. That's what's bad about these trucks. And eventually we just reset the computers what we had to do, and it just came out and it worked. And we didn't try to go back into 4-wheel drive again. So there's another issue with one of the trucks. I stayed late between work and here to get brake lines put in our 250. We had a passenger line but brake line go. So that's what I was doing for the last couple hours. Get that all put in. It should be good to go in the morning. We'll bleed it and we'll should have that truck finally back on the road again. So we've had a busy couple of weeks of just trying to fix things. But with 2 guys that you're trying to mix, fixing, doing roads, 8,000 people calling and trying to make everyone happy. We did end up getting Kilton Pond finally graded. I know those people out there will be very happy with that. We got some cold patching done. We've got some ditch working done. We're working up on Barney Hill. That has been an absolute joke of a job to do. It's been a very big job. 2 days almost of hauling ditchings. So with 2 guys, it's just difficult. One doesn't have a CDL and he can't load trucks. So I have to use the backhoe to load the smallest truck, and so we're just hauling about 6 yards at a time. So it's been a long couple days of just doing that, so it'll be good to move on from that project. So we're doing what we can, and I'm excited to have some help on Monday, so I can finally delegate jobs to the people who have the skills. And we'll be going.
Sounds good.
It's fun. I appreciate everybody's patience and call me if you have any issues. They do.
Building notification, map 2 lot 788 6.
So for this one, they don't have a septic approval number yet, but Bob Center is the one doing the work for the septic, and he said everything's been submitted. They're just in a bind without having this building notification signed. They can't get I think the loans that they need, to be able to pay the contractors to do the rest of that work. So that's, all their work is kind of on hold without this, so I don't know if you guys are comfortable with signing off without that approval number.
I don't understand, they do their loan without a building notification?
Correct, and that's typical. Usually, being able to get contractors and stuff will be held up without having this signed.
Is it legal to sign it without the state number?
Well, it's not so much a legality. The building ordinance is governed through the select board. The purpose of having that is to show that you're following the proper procedures, that you have a proper plan in place for your waste disposal and your water runoff.
And that's what gets you the number, once the state reviews that?
Yeah, so
The
a
state-
septic,
Yeah.
a septic design plan is submitted to DES, Department of Environmental Services, by the septic designer. And then DES reviews it and will approve it and send it back.
That's an approval to construct,
Yeah.
and once it's in, you have to have an approval to operate.
Right.
And I don't understand why they don't have, I put in a septic last year, much to my chagrin, and extreme expense. And when the designer submitted the plan to DES, he had the approval the same day.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's a different employment situation, let me tell you.
could be. I don't know. Mine was a replacement, so maybe that makes a difference. They want to encourage you, if you have a failed
They didn't
system,
have to do a new perk test, right, if it was a replacement?
I had to do a perk
Oh, you had
test.
to do a perk
I had
test
to
too?
do all that, yeah.
Hmm.
Rip up my yard and it was awful.
I trust Bob Center.
Yeah, and it was right next to a river down there too, so that was an issue.
Yeah.
I don't see Bob Center having an issue with the DES.
So did you sign it?
Do we need to sign?
Yeah, I think that's why it's here.
Where do we sign?
Where did we sign? There's no,
What was that page?
It's on the back, second page,
Oh, it's on
the back of the
side.
first page.
Oh, okay, I was like, it should be right there. So you guys are agreeing to sign it?
Well, I'm not crazy about signing it. Cause I really am not. So 2 signatures will do, sign it.
I can do a letter contingent on something like that when I give them their,
Okay.
Building notification, map 14 lot 127.
so this one's a little more forward, they've got everything you need. So they actually have another building notification that has been approved for their house, but they're renting right now
Yeah,
in another town, and it's really hard for them, they're building this all on their own.
yeah,
So they wanna do a temporary structure that they wanna move into,
yeah.
so that they can continue building on their house. So this is for their temporary structure.
Okay, are they gonna have a privy, or is that what
Yeah, they have a privy already in place that
and do
they
they
had
need-
put in for building on the house.
Do they need to get a privy approval?
No, they already have all that,
So,
yeah.
so this
And
is,
they're not gonna have running water or anything to this temporary
It's kind of
structure.
shit, so they can live in.
Yeah. It's gonna be kinda like, you know how, construction sites have those little portable office buildings?
Yeah.
It's gonna be something like that.
approval for construction.
Okay, Boats Crossing water runoff. Sam and I ran up and looked at that a couple weeks ago. And we had two options, pull the culvert out
No.
and force two other landowners to put culverts in across their driveway. Or we let the landowners that the water is running onto deal with the water runoff, which is what we do anyways. Yeah, I don't see how we can make two people put culverts in.
That doesn't make sense, and then that means that's more water running down the road,
Yeah.
and anytime you have that, it's in danger, if you get a big rain, it's gonna you could take the road with it, so we're better off getting rid of the water where it is.
Yeah,
Then,
just let it.
and so does the landowner know that that's?
Not yet.
Okay.
So yeah, we have to make a final decision on how we wanna address that. I think one of the biggest concerns that I was hearing was that, any further mitigation happening up the road that would make that runoff into that property, more, like, create more of a runoff into that property. Like, you know, if we later installed more culverts, that would divert more water to that side.
Well, two houses up
She doesn't
has
want-
two culverts going across the road into their yard. One goes into a pipe that goes into no man's land.
Yeah, yeah.
And one runs into a little stream that goes down their yard. They have a bridge across.
Yeah.
So I don't see any other more water going into her yard.
So we just need the letter to state that.
Because Bob Center even chimed in and said, just leave it. Let the landowner. They,
That was the phone conversation I had.
yeah. And by the looks of it, the silt is staying right there at the culvert. Only thing going onto that property totally is water.
Yeah, that catch basin is
Yeah.
catching it.
Everything's just water, so
So,
contain that.
so you need a letter to state that we can't remove that culvert,
Yeah,
but no further
runoff will be driven down to the property.
will be driven to that property.
Yeah.
I'll work on that. Okay.
And on the same day, we took one and looked at that tree on Razor Hill. That tree can come down. We got Lucky and Sue and
Tony,
Tony. I don't know how much, you know. But we're walking in the road, and we asked them if we could take the tree, and they were all happy.
I'm sure they
Yes.
were.
So that tree come down.
Yes.
Any, pretty much anything, you know, roads, you know, to let the town take.
Well, I appreciate that, but like I said before, we have plenty of other snags
Yeah.
in town. There's one on Prescott, right before that bridge when you're,
Yeah.
and that's just one. I just happened to notice that the other day. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of tree work that needs, brush work that needs to be done.
But I've had people chime in about this particular tree, so I would like to see it gone too.
Yes.
Is that something that is it something that the highway department would be doing, or do we need
Yes.
to put a bid out to?
No, the highway,
You can do it.
Okay.
Pretty much just living, then dropping. They will have to shut down the road for a bit. When the tree comes down.
Will it affect any landowners?
no.
Okay, so.
You know, drop it right in the road. Okay, I'll let Ed take the next, recreational field in Cook Shack.
Yeah, the field needs a couple dump truck loads, small loads, the loom to take care of the ruts that somebody took and went and dug up the field. And,
Are they doing
That's over
grass?
by the ball
Yes.
field, right?
yeah,
Or
By the
over by the
ballpark.
basketball?
Yeah.
yeah.
How much do you think it's gonna take?
I mean, the C10, whatever you wanna call it.
CV.
Yeah, CV, couple, 2 loads, that would be enough.
You're talking about 14 yards per truckload.
Good, about
If
10
that's
yards.
Bobby Center's truck size, he's talking that big. So that's, the loom, I just got the shipments in, at my place, you know, and, it was, $26 a yard. And this truck is a 14-yard truck, so someone can do the multiplier for the cost of the one truckload. And then that's plus, there's an additional $150 for the truck to deliver.
Right, but we'd be getting it right through the town.
Okay.
The town.
The town would haul it.
Oh, town's hauling it? Okay, so, yeah, there you go.
See, it was
So how
all-
many yards is your truck here?
Well, they're
The
14
CDs
or
are
5
5
yards.
Yeah.
I can just do it with a 10-wheeler.
Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, just, but it is it was $26 a yard, and that's the only reason I'll mention it.
What, do we get that up at Hammond's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe so.
Him, it's all the pit down here.
I'm not sure if they do too much loan. You could, you call Jimmy,
Yeah,
see what he has for loan.
yeah.
I gotta go to Hammond's in the morning, I can ask them.
Yeah.
Well, Hammond's ain't that great, but,
Okay, yeah, I don't know, just
Yeah.
let me know where you want them and I'll go
Yeah.
get it.
Jimmy's ain't any good either. No, I was saying,
Just ask Hammond's.
Okay.
that's Bobby Center, you get some good stuff, field straight.
Dig it out of Ed's yard.
and the cook shack, as you may know, has been vandalized, a couple windows broken. Rocks thrown up on the roof.
Hopefully the dumpster under the roof.
Right. Yeah, the 2 outside lights have been broken. Russell's gonna take a look at the roof and give me a price on the damage and everything tomorrow.
He's he gonna look at the windows and give a price on it? He's gonna look at all of it?
Do you think you might want some cameras there at some point?
I've got cameras.
Oh, do you? Okay.
So,
Can we get restitution?
Yes. They would call it in the act.
Okay.
So we just have to follow the steps of,
Did you catch who was driving in the field?
no, but we know,
You know who it is,
yeah,
okay.
your neighbor,
Our neighbor, which one?
up the road.
we're not none dropping in a
Yeah.
public meeting.
Just don't go there. We don't know.
Do you wanna discuss signs for the cook shack?
Yes.
So, we were thinking as part of a deterrent to put signs up on the cook shack. One of them is, property, is protected by video surveillance, because he's gonna have cameras up. And then have an authorized personnel only on there, so that it's very clear that, you know, you can't enter that cook shack unless you have been given permission to. It's just another security feature. In the, Econo Signs book, the, surveillance one, that sign is 3852. And then the authorized personnel one, it says EG part 1990, HIP part 2110. I'm not sure what that means.
What are the sizes?
EG and HIP. The size for that one is 18 inch by 12 inch. And then the surveillance one is 18 inch by 24 inch. I don't know what, oh, maybe HIP is the high reflective.
It might be.
I think it might say
Easy,
something.
it's like that, but
Yeah. I'm not sure. I can Google it later. So the question is whether or not you guys want to purchase that, and would that come from the buildings?
it would be. I'll motion to buy 2 signs for the cook shack. Come from the buildings